Guys, welcome back to another great episode of The Cold Hard Truth. We finally got a show intro. We're going to be tweaking it and updating it a little bit. I'm just glad we have an intro. Again, welcome back. I have Conor and Peyton here with me. Boys, how we doing?
What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
We're doing good.
I'm doing great, guys. I'm ready to jump into this. Starting out with the MLB, we're going to get right into it. Fernando Tatis. The Juan Soto trade basically means nothing at this point now. If you haven't heard the news, Fernando Tatis Jr. was suspended for 80 games for violating the MLB's PED use. Guys, what are your reactions to this? I'll give my thoughts really quick. The first thing I thought of is, well, there go the World Series chances. They're done now because, again, you have teams like the Dodgers, the Mets, the Braves. Without Fernando Tatis, I know that they still have star talent and star players. But without him, I just don't see them being able to knock off a Dodgers team who just came off winning 12 games in a row. They've been the hottest team in baseball besides the Mets coming out of the All-Star break. So I really think their World Series chances are done. They're finished. But Conor, your reactions to him getting suspended and what this means for the Padres?
Well, first of all, I'm not really surprised. I feel like ever since he's entered the league, he's mostly been all about himself. Especially starting this year with his motorcycle accident in the offseason, got no reason as to why he even did that in the first place, and then go on and do this when he's on rehab and like a week out from coming back.
Yep,
it just really makes no sense. And also, like, his teammates give major props to the Padres front office and his teammates for calling him out. They're saying he needs to mature more, that it's not all about him, it's got to be about the team. And they're also accepting that he's not here, and the Padres have made it so far without him. So I've been thinking about it two ways. The Padres really are going to miss him on the field just because he's a great player. In the clubhouse, I don't think they're going to miss him at all just because of the distraction that he brings to the team.
Peyton.
I agree with Conor. I think the ringworm thing, to come out with that immediately too, is just
utterly ridiculous,
utterly disrespectful, especially to the guys that do it the right way and don't take PEDs. And again, this doesn't hurt anybody more than it does his teammates because, like you said, it ruins their chances at a title. I don't know. He's a diva. It's upsetting. Shout out to the Padres, though. I had to wear my hat for the Padres fans out there. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
They might need you to play shortstop now,
especially after the Soto trade. It's like, why now? Like, if you're gonna
that's what I'm saying.
If you're gonna be an idiot at any time, do it when you're in the dumps, when your team has no chance. This is the one time where the Padres really look like they have a decent enough roster to compete with a team like the Dodgers. And with him gone, I agree with Conor, though. It might be like the silver lining of this. Maybe he matures and maybe he grows up a little bit and breaks that diva attitude that he seemed to have since he came into the league. Again, we all know he's an elite talent, but again, just super disrespectful to his teammates and super disrespectful to the organization because it looked like their chances were pretty good after the Juan Soto trade, and now they're in the dump. So I guess that's the Padres.
Also, just really quick, the dude's already gotten paid. He has a 14-year, $340 million deal. What the hell are you doing steroids for? It just doesn't make sense.
That's the great thing about baseball, all the guaranteed money.
Yeah, definitely. And the 80 games, it transfers into next season. So he's going to miss the start of next season as well because there's only about, 50 games left, probably less than, or 50 games left, a little bit less than that. So he's going to miss the first 30 to 40 games of next season, including this. So that hurts the Padres going in, building chemistry and training camp next season as well. Conor, I want to clarify, though. Obviously, they're going to miss him on the field, but you were making the statement that they're not going to miss him in the locker room in terms of his effect on morale and just how he affects the teammates in general, correct?
Oh, yeah. No, just because, they're in the wild card right now. There's obviously no way that they're winning the division. The Dodgers already
not at this point
16 games up, but just for team morale, he hasn't really been around the team all season due to his own selfish actions, but just him, going out and doing whatever he wants is not going to slow down the Padres, and they're still going to the postseason. So,
yeah. Next thing I want to talk about, this hits home for me, and of course it would for Jacob. He's not here with us today, but it definitely hits home for him because I've talked to him about it off the show. Yankees, they were the best team in baseball in the first half of the season. Coming into this half, in this last little stretch of 20 games, they are 9-11, they've won 9 out of their last 20 games, and they are 9-11 in their last 20. They've been shut out 3 times during that stretch. I need to understand what's going on with the Yankees, Conor. I'm going to clarify myself too because I made a mistake there. They've lost 9 out of their last 11, and they've been shut out 3 times, not 20 games. It was 9 out of their last 11. I read that wrong. So what is going on with the Yankees right now? Why are they struggling so much? Judge is still playing well. What's going on with the Yankees?
Beginning of the season, their entire starting rotation looked like they all had a chance to win the Cy Young. I mean, Garrett Cole is obviously Garrett Cole. He's a really good pitcher, and he still is, even though he has those blow-ups from time to time. Nestor Cortes still having a great season, but do you really think that Jameson Taillon is going to have a under 3 ERA for an entire season? And then they go on and trade Jordan Montgomery. Domingo Germán has actually pitched really well. He's probably their number 3 right now, if you think about it, Tino.
Hold on. Montgomery was the one that shut us out the day after we traded him, and then we play him a day later, and he shuts us out. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, so he throws 5 scoreless against the Yankees. His next time out, he throws 6 scoreless. He has 11 scoreless innings as a Cardinal already. It's just insane. But, just the Yankees lineup also, Andrew Benintendi's been a disappointment to this point. Aaron Judge continues to rake, but the Yankees offense goes as Judge goes. If Judge doesn't hit 3-run home runs, the Yankees don't win the game.
Facts.
So,
pretty much. And he was 0 for 4 last night in the shutout against the Red Sox. That shows you if he doesn't hit the ball, they have no chance.
Yeah, so just like as I said, the Yankees go as Judge goes. LeMahieu's now on the injured list, or he's day-to-day for a couple days. Stanton's out for a while. Rizzo's back. He's acting up. The bullpen hasn't been as reliable with the injuries. Michael King, Chad Green, we know about. Clay Holmes has been a disaster. They might have to give the closer role back to Chapman, honestly.
Possibly, and that's no better, because at this point in his career, Chapman, I don't want to see him on the field again, because the last time, I got to say this, last time in the postseason, 2 times, once against the Astros, throws that patented fastball and then looks up at it and gives that little patented smile. Same thing against the Tampa Bay Rays in the divisional series. Throws it, walk-off home run. Oh, look at that. I gave up another home run, huh? Same shit with him. So I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him in at all.
Everybody's saying the Yankees did so well at the deadline. I don't know. I think Juan Soto might have been Juan Soto might have been that missing piece, because I totally agree with Conor. Their entire team depends on Judge just raking. Granted, Judge rakes. Judge is a beast, but you can't have your whole offense dependent on one guy. And like Conor said, their bullpen has gone steadily down ever since the beginning of the season. So looking a little interesting for you Yankees fans over there. Not sure how you're feeling, but I'd be a little worried and stressed out if I was you.
Then again, they do still have a 10.5 game lead. So the division.
It's not about the division.
I'm saying playoffs. I'm saying playoffs.
Yeah, I'm saying playoff against
time,
the Astros. Yes. Yeah, against the Astros, they got no chance right now with the way they're playing. Like,
the good thing is though that it is August 15th, and
that's true.
The postseason's still a while away. So
you'd rather your down come now than closer to the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I agree with that. So,
and Aaron Judge did come on in an interview and say that, teams experience this. It's an 162 game season. So yes, you are going to have ups and downs. The Dodgers they had a few downs earlier. They just won 12 games in a row before losing last night. So teams are going to experience that roller coaster throughout the season. I have to give my take as to why I think the Yankees are struggling. Joey Gallo's gone. Ever since Gallo left, they're terrible.
Dude's raking.
It's the Joey Gallo curse. And ever since he went to the Dodgers, they won 12 in a row. Gallo on the Dodgers, it doesn't matter that he doesn't have to hit the ball, do nothing. I said this. He goes to the Dodgers, they're phenomenal. They win 12 in a row. They have almost 80 wins this season already. He leaves the Yankees, and they've now lost 9 of their last 11 games and have a losing record post All-Star break.
You need him.
Joey Gallo was the missing piece. I guess him striking out every single damn at bat was what we needed, because he's
Joey Gallo
and we can't do anything.
The Joey Gallo curse might be your best quote yet. I think I think that's it.
It has to be though, because it's not even. But the unfathomable thing is that it's not just the Yankees struggling; it's the Dodgers hitting their stride with him now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's scaring me about it. Is that what happened? I don't know what to do. I talked to this about Jacob. He agrees with me right now. He says, listen, it's the Joey Gallo curse. We don't have him. We struggle.
Jacob would not agree with you right now if he was here. I'll tell you that right now.
Obviously, he wouldn't agree. I'm just saying that he said the same thing when I was talking to him off the show. In all seriousness, though, it really is the pitching. That's the biggest issue for them right now, because they can hit the ball pretty well, even with Stanton hurt and LeMahieu hurt now as well. Mm-hmm. The pitching is the biggest issue. Their starters, I mean, we talk about Garrett Cole. Nobody on this roster right now besides Nestor Cortes has an ERA below 4.0, I believe. I think Nestor's the only one for the season that has an ERA 4 or below. Everybody else, including Cole, who is our ace, our 9-year 250, $260 million guy that we paid 2-3 seasons ago. He has an ERA over 4. He either pitches and lets up like 6 runs in one inning, or he strikes out like 13 guys. He can't manage himself. He either plays phenomenally or he shits the bed every time he goes out there. Nestor, he's been the only one who's been relatively consistent throughout the entire season. Tyone's a joke to have him as a starter, like our third best guy. That's ridiculous. Again, Herman's been. You said Domingo Herman. He's probably been the second best guy as of late behind Nestor. Maybe
Really,
even in some
really
games
good,
the best
dude.
guy. It was between him and Jordan Montgomery if we were going to trade. I'm loving the look of it because Herman's been great since the deadline. But overall, even the closers, again, Clay Holmes has been horrendous. Michael King, not that great. Scott Efros, he's been okay since coming in.
Yeah.
He hasn't done much. But overall, this Yankees team is scaring me because if they have to face the Astros again in the playoffs, this team right now, they have to get it together because there's no chance in hell this current Yankees roster beats the Astros in a 5, 7, whatever, however many games in the postseason. They're not going to beat them. That's for damn sure. Moving on, though, we're going to go to the NFL. I want to bring up a few preseason things that happened over the weekend. We had week 1 of the preseason. It was honestly just surreal to see football on my TV screen again. I did purchase NFL Plus, so we're going to get all those games at college. Let's
go.
Make that purchase.
Yeah, we needed
to make that purchase. The first thing I want to bring up, though, Deshaun Watson, for the first time in 18 months, stepped on a football field, and he looked pretty terrible. I mean, I was just shocked to see him on a football field again amidst all the drama going on off the field amidst the allegations, everything. The first pass that he threw, I don't know if either of you saw it on Instagram. Or it was everywhere. Twitter.
The play action to Schwartz.
The play action rolling out to his left, and he just threw a meatball of a pass over his head. Like, it was just terrible. What were your reactions? I mean, like, just not even with how he played, but just the fact that he was even on the field when he's not even going to be starting week 1. It's going to be Brissett. Should they have played him? Like, what were your thoughts on that, Conor?
Yeah, I think it's really poor judgment on the Browns' part because they know everything that's going on and they still had the guts to go and run that guy out there. And he honestly deserved everything that he got. The horrible play, Jacksonville crowd over him. Deserved everything he got out there, and you can honestly just blame the Browns for that situation, just for putting him out there in the first place.
Yeah. I agree.
What do you think?
I agree 100%. I think it's just dumb to put him out there. I mean, 2020, this guy had one of the best quarterback seasons I've seen in a while in terms of completion percentage and just efficiency. I still think he's got top 5 potential, no doubt in my mind. Like, if you let go of all the off the field stuff, but the fact that he even got on the field, I don't know. It just felt so wrong. Just like, you kind of have to let the air clear a little bit before you let a guy like that come back on the field. Granted, he hasn't played 2 years in the league, so you want to get him some experience. I mean, but what else do you expect from his first 2 passes? They were garbage, both incompletions to Schwartz. The play action was worse because he was butt naked open. It was bad. But it's like, I look at Mike Vick, 2 years in jail, went from Atlanta to Philly and had an absolute resurgence. I don't think Deshaun Watson's forgot how to play quarterback. I don't think that he's going to be, fall out of the top 10 in terms of quarterbacks this
talent.
Or even just numbers wise going forward. But right now, it looked like a dumpster fire, and it's everything that I expected it to be because it's the Browns and they're idiots and they're just stupid. And I think Jacoby Brissett's honestly a good quarterback, and I think they're lucky that they have him there to be able to man the wheel for at least a little bit before Watson comes back. Who knows when he's going to come back?
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. We still don't have any update on the case if he's going to be suspended for, because the 6 games is now set. It can't be any less. It can only be more if it does get to higher.
My guess it's 6 to 10, and like
probably
I think even 10 is like pretty fair for generous, the amount of like again, we look comparatively at other guys and the suspensions and the numbers, whether it be Calvin Ridley betting on himself and getting a whole season, Tom Brady deflating footballs and getting 4 games. Like, this is a little bit more of a touch.
But you can't, Peyton, I want to say that you can't really compare it, though, because Sue Robinson wasn't, and this was the whole weird thing, and I'll preface this again for the listeners who missed our last episode. Deshaun Watson, this was ruled on by Sue Robinson, so she wasn't using any prior case, because all of those things you're bringing up, the Tom Brady Deflategate, Calvin Ridley, D-Hop with the PEDs, everything, all of that was decided by the NFL and Roger Goodell. When Sue Robinson gave her recommendation to the NFL saying we should suspend Watson for 6 games, that was based on only all of the evidence that she had access to in the Watson case. She based that decision nothing off of the other cases in terms of what you mentioned. I just want to clarify that.
I get that, and I guess as probably every other football fan or sports fan that isn't an expert on law and an expert on NFL protocol or whatever you may say, I don't understand why he got the luxury of Sue Robinson and a non-NFL, non-NFL personnel to decide the case when all these other guys had the hammer come down on them from this clown named Roger Goodell. It's just a joke.
But the weird thing is that Goodell
the-
came back in and stepped in anyway, and he appealed it, so he's going to have the final say anyway. So it's almost like Sue Robinson was pointless.
Yeah,
it's just a weird situation.
It's the discrepancy, the double standard, and realistically, again, I think most people would agree on this. I don't know everything about the case, but this guy should be out for a year. He shouldn't be on the field. He shouldn't be wearing a Browns uniform. He should have never been at training camp. And again,
and gotten $230 million guaranteed dollars.
But that's the Browns. That's a bad organization. That's a bad move.
Aren't they only paying him like $1 million this year?
Yes.
It was to protect themselves. But I'm just saying the look of it, the perception. They paid a guy $230 million guaranteed. He's getting the most guaranteed money of any quarterback. Yeah. Over Rodgers, over Mahomes, over anybody. That's just bad for the shield in the face of the NFL, in my opinion.
It's one of the worst cases for the NFL's image that I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, they've
had a lot of bad ones.
They've come down so hard on so many guys for so many not minor things, but
less
relative to this is true.
A lot less than this. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is and it's more the things that are being alleged against Watson are a lot more frowned upon than many things I've seen that guys have gotten.
I hope so.
10 games, 12 games. I'm not an expert on the Alvin Kamara case, but he could be getting.
We have updates on that I'm going to give in a little bit once we get further.
We'll wait for it. But still, it's a disgrace. It's a joke. The guy should be off the field. He shouldn't be on the field. Again, I still think he's top 5 talent-wise in the league once he gets his head back on straight. Yeah. But it's too much for me.
Yeah.
Conor, I do have to ask you though. Are you concerned with what you saw from Watson on the field? Do you think he's going to come on? Once he gets his legs back under him and gets kind of the feel of the game once again, are you concerned what you saw, or do you have faith that once he gets on the field in the regular season, he can get back what he had in 2020?
Yeah, the thing is, I think that he knows that he didn't belong out there, and he wasn't really mentally prepared like he normally would be if this was any other season before any of this happened. So I'm not going to take his performance and judge that of him coming back, because Peyton said it. He's a top 5 talent when he's healthy and his head's clear and everything. But just this being a distraction for such a long time now, I think was in his head most of the entire game, and he just played really poorly.
I agree with Conor, 100%.
Yeah. I'm going to go through some rapid fire things here for some of the preseason games that we had over the weekend. Conor, I'll ask you this question and only you. Jordan Love throwing 3 picks in the game against the 49ers. Him being the backup for Aaron Rodgers. Are you concerned by this? Again, it's kind of a minuscule.
Are you concerned by this?
Yeah. I was going to. The real question is, are you concerned, Santino?
You want me to answer this?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Mr. Packers.
One of them was just a terrible throw by him that went behind the receiver. The other 2 were off the receiver's hands and the face masks.
Okay.
Not that I'm concerned about it because he's not the starter, but my whole thing is the lineage of quarterbacks that we've seen come out of Lambeau, of Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Rodgers, who are all considered all-time greats. They're all Super Bowl champions. Or no, did Favre win did Favre win a Super Bowl, or am I mistaken? I believe he did, right?
I think he won, but I don't know
if he did.
I don't know.
He might have.
I don't know if it was with the Packers.
It wasn't with the Jets or the Vikings. I'm going to say, for the sake of argument, they were all Super Bowl winners. Bottom line is they've had a lineage of great quarterbacks. Having Jordan Love as a backup, a guy that you traded up for as a replacement for Rodgers. Rodgers is a guy who doesn't throw more than 5 or 6 picks in a regular season, and then we have Jordan Love throwing 3 in a preseason game, 1 game. It's a little bit concerning, seeing that he's been in the organization for 3 years now, and he's backed up one of the best quarterbacks of all time. A little bit concerning in my opinion, but who cares? Moving on, we'll go Bengals to the Bengals and Cardinals game. The Bengals
very concerning.
He's not starting, so it's not that big of a deal. But I figured
he's not good.
Peyton, you got to tell me that. I'm a cheesehead over here. We know that. Bengals against the Cardinals.
He's straight up cheesehead.
Yeah, loves a cheesehead. Bengals against the Cardinals, though. They made additions to their offensive line. Peyton, I'm going to ask you this question. They allowed 3 sacks in the game against the Cardinals. Are you concerned about the Bengals' ability to protect Joe Burrow going into this season, or do you think once the starters get the chemistry, it'll be fine?
They'll be fine. That O-line's got better. That O-line's got better. Look how well they protected him last year. He got hit.
They let up 70 sacks last year, which was the most in the NFL. I'm just saying, in terms of what you like, the preseason game, they allowed 3 sacks, and it was the starters that were out there for part of it. So, do you think the starters will get it together and develop the chemistry to play together?
I've seen a lot that like people are kind of hyping the Bengals O-line and saying that they're going to be like, I think they're going to be better. I don't know if they're going to be like way better than they were last year. Am I worried? Not really. Joey gets the ball out quick, and you still have Mixon there, and you can't really stack. You can't really stack the box with guys like Chase and Higgins. So it's like pressure wise, it's going to be weird to see how teams blitz them. But I'm not really concerned about them. I mean, again, I don't think they're going to take the massive leap that everybody thinks they're going to take. But
I mean, I think they'll be phenomenal. But yeah,
they'll be better than they were last year, obviously. But I don't think they'll be like.
You're speaking about the offensive line in this case, right?
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking O-line like middle of the pack type of O-line. But again, with a guy like Joey, you have Jamar, you have Mixon. I don't really think your O-line needs to be that great. But it's not concerning. But I don't think that they're going to take the massive jump that everybody thinks they will. But I think they'll go from about bottom of the pack to middle of the pack.
I got you, Connor. Next question. The Cowboys in their first preseason game had 17 total penalties. They led the league in penalties last year with 141, and they had 14 penalties in the infamous wild card loss against the 49ers. And even after, I'm going to throw this in there too. After the game, Mike McCarthy said, "Well, like listen, folks. We all know this is preseason. Like this isn't the regular season. We shouldn't be that concerned." Terrible, are you concerned? Coach. Because I'll say this, I am. But are you concerned about the penalty issues with the Cowboys?
From a fan perspective, no. I hope it continues all season long. But
me too.
Just as like obviously we hate you're a Giants fan, but in terms of the Cowboys themselves, like seeing the issues last year and that they haven't been fixed yet with all the training camp that's been going on, I feel like it should be a concern.
Yeah, I mean, is it going to hurt them in the regular season? Probably not. But if they have the luxury of playing playoff football 100%, I mean that penalties are really just how like your coach is, honestly. Just during the week.
That's McCarthy though, but that's
really just like thinking that your team. Well, the Cowboys are like immensely talented, but the coaching's going to get in the way once again. Yeah.
Tino's I kind of agree with Tino's point that he made last week, where it's like, and it kind of goes with what you're saying, Connor. When you have Micah and Trayvon on defense, and they're so talented, I think it kind of gives everybody else this heightened sense of confidence on that defense, where they're like, okay, we have Micah, we have Trayvon, we have playmakers out here. Yeah. Let's take a risk. But again, with good defenses, it's not just about having playmakers out there. It's about having disciplined vets who know what they're doing.
It could be the difference between them winning the division or not.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and I kind of like it goes to Tino's point where he's like, Micah's one of the most, he's extremely good and he's extremely talented. Phenomenal. Diggs, no matter how much you hate on him, he's still extremely talented. He may get burned
he's a top 15 corner. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah. Okay.
We won't get into it, but yeah.
Okay. But I'm kind of seeing it now. I mean, again, it is preseason. It's not the regular season, but if they do take, I mean, 14 penalties, 15 penalties in a game, they're going to lose. Like Dak just lost Cedric Wilson, and he lost, who else did he lose? Amari Cooper. Yeah. So, I mean, unless Dalton Schultz becomes a top 5 tight end, which he arguably
he could be.
Numbers wise, Tino, I'm not saying talent wise. This is the same. What was the kid's name from
Stats.
What was the kid's name? The kid's name from Green Bay who was really good that one year.
Robert Tonyan. I know, yeah.
Tunyon's not top 10 in talent.
But his numbers,
volume.
He's still in Green Bay.
Unless Dalton Schultz takes a boatload of touches and CeeDee Lamb turns into a true number 1 wide receiver, this offense is going to have a really, really hard time scoring enough points for how much their defense may let up points, or even just penalties in general.
And their offensive line got worse, and a lot of these penalties are on the offensive end as well, holding, stuff like that. And because the offensive line got worse and they lost Lyle Collins, they lost a few guys, it's going to hurt them because there's going to be younger guys, backups coming in that are not going to be as experienced and might even cause that issue to further on in the regular season. Moving on, though, I wanted to cover one more thing. Zach Wilson with the injury. Already we're seeing this in the preseason. What we're hearing is it's not a torn ACL. I just got a notification on Twitter, though. He's heading in. He's going to have surgery tomorrow in LA on his injured knee. The reports that I heard initially were like 2 to 4 weeks. It could be more depending on meniscus tear, depending on the recovery. Yeah, and it was a non-contact injury. So I thought it was an ACL when I saw it after the replay. I was like, oh, it doesn't look good. Meniscus tear, going to get surgery tomorrow. Connor, I mean, listen, the Jets, we won't spend that much time on this because the Jets
Yeah.
weren't going to be like the world beater playoff team, but
No.
obviously this sucks for them that Zach Wilson is going to have to miss the start of the season. Who's going to be the starter, I'll ask you, Joe Flacco or Mike White starting week 1 if he can't be there?
Honestly, should be Joe Flacco. I still think that Flacco has some left in the tank, honestly.
I think he's decent. He's a
Super Bowl winning
quarterback.
He could be pretty good.
Dude, there was Baltimore Ravens fans that were in the streets like petitioning for Joe Flacco to start over Lamar Jackson. So
Joe Flacco against the Ravens week 1, why not?
That'd be
yeah.
Dude, we'd get a Wilson in Seattle rematch, a Baker in Cleveland rematch if he starts, and then a Flacco Baltimore rematch if he starts week 1.
That'd be
a sick reunion for all these quarterbacks going up against their former teams. But Peyton, do you think would you like Flacco in there? Because he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's not terrible for his age.
Yeah,
so
I'd say again. I'm gonna go back to the term silver lining. I don't think Wilson was ready. There's a lot of pressure on Wilson this year specifically because of how much they're off. The amount they're off
in there now.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about this guy like he led the league in picks last year. He was the least polished rookie quarterback out of his draft class. By Lance didn't play much, but still, this kid was. I don't think he was ready to start this season. I really don't. I think it would have been a tough start for him.
Last season he wasn't.
Or no, even this year, I don't think this year he would have came out the gate hot by any stretch of the imagination. And most analysts are saying this offense is going to take a huge uptick.
I think I agree with him. Yeah,
Elijah Moore, sure, maybe, but honestly, I'd rather start with Joe Flacco out there, who I agree with Conor probably still has a bit of an arm left, and you do have Breece Hall, you do have Michael Carter. Flacco might get them through the first, 8 games. Maybe 4 wins, maybe 5 wins. I don't know if Zach Wilson.
About that because they have some tough games, dude. I agree with both of what you're saying. I think Flacco should be the starter in the case that Wilson can't play, which is extremely likely. Because again, the reports before surgery are 2 to 4 weeks, probably going to be longer after surgery. But I would have liked to see Zach Wilson. I think he would have had a great year starting out if he did come out without the injury. But it still sucks to see him get hurt. We wish the best for him. Obviously, good recovery. Hopefully, he can get back towards the middle of the season. We'll move on, though. That's all the preseason talk I wanted to go over. Antonio Brown. Just when we think this guy's out of the news,
he's back.
He never is, because he's always back in. Because I'm going to read you this, and I'm going to read it from my phone because I want to make sure I get it word for word exactly correct. Here we go. Antonio Brown. My biggest regret in my career doesn't involve calling my GM a cracker or showing up to Raiders camp late in a hot air balloon with frozen feet. That's normal. I think we can all agree. Or throwing rocks at the UPS driver. I do that on a daily basis. It definitely doesn't involve taking my shirt off and doing a victory lap around the Jet Stadium mid-game while throwing up deuces. See ya. My biggest regret is that I'll never get to see me, Antonio Brown, play a game live. Sure, I can watch the game afterwards, but I can't imagine what that was like for you all to see something like that. Like watching the Beatles or Jesus perform at Red Rocks. Antonio Brown on his biggest regret. Before I go to you guys, I'm like restraining myself from like just going on like a curse rant because I don't know what in the world goes through this dude's head anymore. The CTE like has eaten like the brain molecules. Like he has no brain cells left. The CTE, all the hits, the hit that Vontaze Burfict gave him in that playoff game, that like ate half of his brain cells, and like it's all gone. He has nothing left in his mind. Listen, I can understand like what he means, kind of like, oh, like I wish I could have seen myself play. It's not that he said that, because I don't think that's the crazy part. The crazy part is saying that's your biggest regret over all of the other things that you've done in your lifetime. And he didn't even mention all the other things, not to mention him live streaming Mike Tomlin's private discussion in the locker room. You've done more things than just this. So for that to be his biggest regret, I just don't know what the hell to do with him anymore. He's lost his mind.
He's trolling.
I don't care. It's not trolling. He genuinely believes this. He has lost his mind.
No, he
doesn't.
Yes, he
does.
Tino.
Dude, yes,
no,
he 100% does. He believes what is coming
Tino,
out of his mouth.
Tino, he wrote that tweet for a person like you who would talk about it.
No,
yes, he did.
So you think
he wrote that tweet to piss people off. And what did it do? What did it do, Tino? It got us talking about him again. A guy that we shouldn't be talking about, that has no right. He should just be gone in the wind. We're talking about him again because that tweet might be the best tweet of all time. I
think it has to be. There's no way.
That's a top 5 tweet I've ever seen in my life.
In terms
that
of
was
top,
so.
Sorry, you go.
When you read that to me, I was crying, laughing. I was crying. That's how funny. That's how good that tweet is. It pissed so many people off, and it did exactly what he wanted it to do. It got his name back.
So you don't believe you don't believe that
he was probably being a little bit serious. Not a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
No,
but like imagine. I would want to. If I was AB in his prime, I probably would have wanted to watch myself too. He was great, bro.
Guys,
Connor, do you believe? I'm gonna. You go. Just go, Connor. Go.
Guys,
the documentary that comes out on this dude in the future is going to be
God.
Insane.
Great watch.
It's going to be awesome.
No, they need to do like a 60-minute segment on this guy.
Yes.
Dude. Honestly, you know what? I'll put this out there into the universe. If I'm working at ESPN down the line 10, 15 years, let me do the sit down with him.
Be the director.
Let me do the sit down 30 for 30 with him because I need to get in the mind of this dude.
There's no getting in that mind, bro. There's no
way. But Connor, do you think he meant what he said, or do you think he just did it? Obviously he did it for attention, but like,
yeah,
he had to have meant that like heavily. I genuinely think he meant every word that he said.
It's so I don't think that dude's ever meant a word he said in his entire life.
It's
honestly.
hard. It's hard to know.
It's just so hard to believe that someone would actually say the stuff that he said or done in his life.
That's right.
I just feel like he is out of a cartoon and he just like does whatever he wants. Like that's my perception of Antonio Brown.
No, he's literally Daredevil from oh my God, he's from the Bugs Bunny cartoons, right?
Yeah, he's like Steve will do
Daredevil running around in a circle, just like, losing his mind. Like he genuinely. And the thing is, Peyton, I agree with you. I prefaced it by saying this. I don't have a problem with him saying I would have liked to watch myself play. Of course, if I was him, if I was him, Tom Brady, Rodgers, I would say this exact same thing. It's not about that. That's his biggest regret over calling his GM a cracker. Like,
no,
I don't understand.
Well, that's what makes that makes. Well, if he tweeted out like the only thing I wish is that I could have watched myself score a touchdown.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Like nobody would care, but it's the fact that he prefaced it by I've done all this awful shit and all still. Yeah, I mean he's
driver. No, I don't regret that.
No, he's
I regret not watching myself play.
He's full blown nuts. I'll give you that, but he did that on purpose and he did it for attention and it worked. So, and again, I'm going to restate, it's a top 5 tweet. It's one of the funniest tweets I've ever read in my life.
Awesome.
And
maybe outside of like some Elon Musk tweets, this is probably some of like when Elon Musk just tweets like, oh, I like,
like Kanye, like in terms of like people that I love scrolling through their Twitter feed, it would be Elon Musk, Kanye West, and Antonio Brown. Yeah.
After that, I could scroll through it all day because looking at what he said, it's just like, oh my God! Like who is this? Like he's not a human being.
He's
not
human.
From the.
No, he's not human. He's not
from this planet. He is not from this planet.
Nope, he's not.
Moving on though. I want to get to Alvin Kamara because you did mention him earlier. So the post I saw today from The Score was saying Alvin Kamara, he is more and more unlikely to receive any kind of disciplinary action or suspension from the NFL this season as a result of the assault accusations he is facing. And that's due to the fact that the regular season is creeping up fast and the NFL hasn't had a chance to go over that, probably because they're in the midst of the Deshaun Watson. I'm not stating this as a fact as to why this is. This is just what I saw. So likelihood is based on this, there's a good chance the Saints could have Kamara by week 1. Peyton, you brought him up earlier. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Should he get disciplinary action before the season?
I thought about a month ago, I heard that he got his court date pushed back 90 days. And I think that's correct, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
So I still think, I don't know. I didn't see the article saying that he's definitely not going to get disciplined. If he is going to get disciplined.
It wasn't an article. It was just a post from The Score. From what I saw. So
Got you. No, that's fine. That's fine. I've heard that if he is going to get suspended, it's going to be the back end of the season, which would be honestly awful for the Saints.
Yeah.
Because the Saints look real again. Olave, Tino's on the bandwagon. I'm not a big Jameis Winston guy. Baby. Their defense is really good. Their receivers are really good. You have Olave, you have Landry, you have Michael Thomas. Their O-line's good.
Marquez Callaway, don't forget him.
Like the worst thing that could happen to Kamara is he has a career year, weeks 1 through 10, and then 11 to 16 he gets suspended. And
then he's back for the postseason.
Yeah, I mean he's back for the postseason, but I don't know. I hope he doesn't get suspended just because I love watching him play. I know that's kind of terrible to say. That wasn't really the coolest thing he did with that assault. The assault charge isn't great, but I hope that he gets to play this season just because the Saints offense looks so good and I want to see what they look like at full power, full potential. But I don't know. I mean, he probably should get suspended at least
Deserves
6 games. Yeah, he deserves to get suspended. As a fan, I'd like him to wait till next year to suspend him. But realistically, if I had to guess, he's probably going to get suspended for the back end of the season. But again, if you saw something from the score that says he's not going to,
it's
I mean,
saying it's becoming more and more unlikely just because the NFL, like there hasn't been anything coming out about it. So I'm not exactly sure. Again, that's just what I read. So I'm not like, I want to preface for the listeners more so that like, we're not stating any of this is 100% factual. We're just giving our thoughts that what we're seeing more and more unlikely. Should he probably get suspended or some kind of punishment, fine, anything before the season? Yeah, but chances are he might not. So we'll see what happens. But moving on, Lamar Jackson contract talks. Lamar officially set the deadline that he will end contract talks the start of week 1, and the Ravens will not be able to resume them, I believe, until about February of next year of 2023. That's when they can resume contract talks once again. And he wants a $230 million guaranteed contract because of this now precedent that was set by the Deshaun Watson contract the Browns gave him. So Lamar now wants no less than that, which, again, we see this trend. The best guy is not always going to be making the most money, and it's not even about that. It's just about what the market entails, because we saw when Devontae Adams got his money, then Tyreek got hit. Like, it was just one after another. The market kind of increases gradually as you go. So Lamar wants his $230 million guaranteed. He's representing himself, no agent. It's a little bit unprecedented from what we see in the NFL. My question again, do you think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens will get a deal done before week 1, which I believe is September 8th is the first day? It's a Thursday. So I believe it's September 8th. Conor, will the Ravens have the deal done before then? And if they don't, do you think that Lamar should hold out? Because as per reports, he's not planning on holding in, holding out, any of that. But if he doesn't, will they get the deal? And if he doesn't, should he still play the regular season?
Do I think that they'll get the deal? I think they will. But
before
before?
Okay.
But even if they don't, I know I've said that Josh Allen's probably going to win in the MVP, but I think that Lamar's going to be up his heels all season long, dude. He's going to ball out this year.
You think so?
Yeah, big time.
All right.
And then coming off injury too is going to be a big thing. He's going to be healthier.
Yeah, that, and whether he just got paid or he's waiting to get paid, I think he's going to be ultra motivated and ready to go and maybe lead the Ravens past the Bengals in the AFC North.
He's going into the final year of his contract. So, I mean, he's going to get it. He has to get a deal either, again, now or towards the end of the year, February, around the Super Bowl time. But, Peyton, what do you think?
I would say that they pay him. I agree with Conor. I think there's something inherently wrong with him representing himself. No offense. I don't think he's a dumb guy by any stretch of the imagination.
DeAndre
he's a smart
Hopkins
dude.
did that, right? Didn't he represent himself? I think he did.
He might have, but I'm just not too big.
Quarterback and receiver money is different, though, so it's a different.
That is 1.1 and 2. Like, you're in this position for a reason. Find yourself somebody that you can trust that can negotiate a decent deal for you. Don't do this thing where you have to go back and forth and it's a week left. And
it's tippy toeing. The organization doesn't want to piss you off. It's like
it's tippy toeing, and it kind of makes the Ravens look bad. In all honesty, because if anybody would say that Lamar Jackson doesn't deserve $230 million, I think they're absolutely out of their mind. 100%. And in terms of like how he's going to play this year, maybe Conor's right. Maybe he will have a career year. Maybe he will go back to that MVP season form. The tough thing for me is his receiving core is kind of weak. He still has Andrews. I don't mind Bateman, but maybe that helps him in all honesty, because he might have to run the ball like a madman. And as we've seen, Lamar Jackson is at his best when he is just running all over everybody. So maybe Conor's right, but again, I think they should pay him, and I think they should get him his money quick. But the whole thing representing himself, I think it's muddied the waters and made the organization look a little iffy and a little wishy-washy, which I don't think they are. I think they respect Lamar and they love Lamar and they want to keep him for a while, but it's just been kind of weird. But again, I think they pay him sooner rather than later, in my opinion.
Last thing I want to mention is him not getting hit. I'm not saying he shouldn't get paid, but I want to just make this, devil's advocate kind of thing. Guys like Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott came off an injury and was paid after the fact when his ankle and his knee were pointing backwards. Kirk Cousins and Dak both had to endure the franchise tag, which is a possibility for Lamar heading out of this last season in his contract. He could get franchise tagged, but we see that it has worked out. Dak got his money, Kirk got the bag, and we both agree neither of them are as talented as Lamar Jackson.
Not even close.
Yeah, well, as passers,
they're both better passers, I would say. I'm saying, but as a talent, I think it goes Lamar, Dak, and Kirk Cousins. We can all agree on that as a whole.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that Lamar is deserving of the money, and he also is the Ravens offense. Kirk and Dak aren't like the entire reason that those teams are good. Lamar Jackson has been the main majority reason why they've been so successful over the past few seasons. So If he doesn't get his money, that shouldn't be a huge concern because, again, we've seen two quarterbacks who arguably are not as valuable and as good as Lamar Jackson. Lamar will get his money at some point. It's just a matter of when and how much and the guaranteed and all that, all the specifics. Moving on, though. Now, Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt wanted a contract extension. I believe he's in the final year of a 2-year, $12 million deal. He's making about $6.5 million this year. He wanted more money, and the Browns have known that since the spring. And they didn't want to give him a contract extension. And because of that, he then went and requested a trade, and the Browns privately denied his trade request. So now it's the situation of what do we see with Kareem Hunt? Is he going to is he going to hold out, hold in? Like my thoughts, at least, I think that Kareem Hunt will play because he's coming into his final year of his contract. So if he doesn't get a deal with the Browns, you playing will allow you to get a deal somewhere else to be a number one again. Because we forget, before he became the backup for Nick Chubb, he's utilized as like a third down back almost every single time on third down by the Browns. But when he was with Kansas City, before all the assault allegations, he was a top 15, arguably top 10.
He was top 10. He was a bell cow, bro.
I'm saying
a bell cow.
At that time with Alex Smith in the 2016, 2017 years, before McCaffrey, before Saquon, before all of that, he was a top 10 guy. I was saying top 15 because you could maybe argue, but top 10 talent. He's still extremely talented to now, but it's just they have Nick Chubb, so he's the backup. Should the Browns pay Kareem Hunt more money? Should they have extended his contract? And should they grant him the trade request that he wants? Because as of right now, they're not trading him. Conor.
It's hard.
Tough situation.
I honestly think that the Browns are going to end up trading him. I don't know.
Really?
Dude, I imagine him in Buffalo. Going to the Bills.
Why would they give him? Yeah,
they just drafted James Cook in the second round.
That's true.
And they have Devin Singletary still. So I'm not saying he's better than Hunt, but I know. But they have him.
Devin Singletary.
But James Cook should be the number one by week 5.
But no, I don't think that the Browns are going to pay him. Just because aren't they already committed to Nick Chubb long term?
No, they are committed to Nick Chubb. And again, I said, should they pay him? They lost their chance, I believe, to pay him at this point because, again, they knew that he wanted the extension in the spring and they didn't abide by it then. So they won't do it now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, Peyton, trade him? What do you think?
In my opinion, the reason, Nick Chubb has publicly stated that he does not want to play unless Kareem Hunt's on that team. So I think, honestly, the thing that'll keep it alive is the tandem between Hunt and Chubb and that relationship that they have because they seem to be boys. Why would you not be when you're? I think the best 1-2 tandem in the league for running. I don't think it's close. I think the best tandem we've seen before them was probably Kamara and Ingram for a couple of years. They were really good together. But Hunt and Chubb are gross, and of the fact that Chubb, a perpetual 1,000-yard rusher or whatever, 950-yard rusher,
he's had 1,000 every year since his rookie season.
The fact that he would come out and support Hunt and say, this guy needs his money. This is my guy.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I respect it. I have nothing but respect for it. I don't think Hunt will get traded. I just don't see what the Browns could get for him. I think he'll run like a monster this year for his contract, like you said, Tino, but I don't know if he's going to get paid. He should get paid, in my opinion. Again, a lot of allegations, a lot of things in the past that he's done. I'm separating all of that from on-the-field performance. This guy's a stud. And again, I think it'd be dumb of the Browns to let him go for a bag of chips, but, what do I know?
No, I think part of the reason Chubb wants him there is because he knows that Hunt allows him to do a lot of the things that he does because of Hunt's ability to come on. He can be a 4-down back if you need him to. If Chubb's tired one game, like Hunt can come in for a series or a few drives. Like that's part of why Chubb I think likes having him there, and he also just knows that talent wise it makes them a better team. So not
even just tired. Chubb doesn't catch the ball. The guy doesn't run
routes.
That's
true.
He's a downhill
catches.
The exact thing that Chubb doesn't like to do or isn't the best at, Kareem Hunt is fantastic at, and that's screens and dump offs in the flat. So
he doesn't just do it like you said. He's good at it, like you said.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I'd say in terms of pass catching RBs, he's
one of
he's top 10.
Talk about Chubb, who's top 3 running back, doesn't catch it. Hunt can do pretty well. He can do it pretty well. Moving on.
So I think. Sorry. No.
Cool. If you have any other thoughts, go. All right.
No, it's
Jimmy
fine.
G. We'll go to Jimmy G. He hasn't been traded yet. The 49ers again came out. John Lynch said that Trey Lance is going to be the starter. We know this already. Jeff Darlington, who was one of the beat reporters for ESPN, he came out and said the 49ers have come out and they've said they're going to do right by Jimmy G as he has done right by them in his time there. So they're not going to send him just to a terrible team, I guess, is maybe what that indicates. Again, they didn't say that outright, but I'd assume saying they're going to do right by him, that's what that indicates. I've heard a lot of different teams come out, maybe the Browns with the Watson situation, having Jimmy G almost maybe as a backup to Brissett or the starter, because besides Brissett, if he goes down, you have like Josh Rosen and Joshua Dobbs, which is horrendous. So I've heard the Browns pop up. I've heard even the Jets now, because Zach Wilson was injured or is hurt now. I've heard the Jets pop up. I think the Seahawks could honestly be a really decent fit for him. I think
That's
that him
the
with
team I
Pete,
said.
I think that him with Pete Carroll, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Again, who's the running back they got? Peyton, you know him in the second round.
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker. Yeah, I feel like the Seahawks could be a decent space, but Connor, where's Jimmy G going to end up? Is he going to be traded before the start of the regular season? What's going to happen there?
I think that we'll know tomorrow. You know, if Zach Wilson's injury ends up being worse than originally thought, I think the Jets could really swoop in and go get him. I'm serious.
Yeah, because you could trade like a second.
Yeah, and
you know, probably.
we were saying like the Jets' offense is really solid. Like they brought in a lot of good rookies, a lot of good veterans as well. Their O-line has gotten better.
Game manager like Jimmy G, no turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, he may be not maybe like as flashy as Zach Wilson, but he'll get the job done. And you could have Jimmy G and Flacco right there. That's a solid one too.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, I agree with Connor.
That's the best fit.
I said the Seahawks, like you said, because I think that, again, you're not going to win with Drew Lock. You're not going to win with Geno Smith. I don't know who the third option is, but you're not winning with any of those guys. It's hard. It's hard because with a team like the Seahawks, you have Lockett and DK, which are such deep threats, and Jimmy's deep ball sucks. But again,
we saw that in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Missing Sanders there.
But to say that Drew Lock or Geno Smith's deep ball is any better would be blasphemous. One. Yeah. Two, you have Kenneth Walker there, who I think you could run to the ground, give 20 touches a game. Not to mention Rashad Penny, who still had a pretty decent back end of last year. I would go to the Seahawks. I think they're a decent enough team. It's weird when you say that the 49ers say they're going to do well by him and get him to a decent roster. I don't know how many decent rosters would actually want to take on Garoppolo right now,
true, yeah,
or even have him as
He's
not really a starter realistically, unless
and a lot of good rosters already have good starting quarterbacks. That's why they're good. So, I mean,
and again, he was good on the Niners because they're so run heavy, and he's such a good game manager that, again, I was trying to think of teams that had decent running backs that he could manage the clock and maybe scrape out some wins.
They also have one of the best minds in football, and Kyle Shanahan running the show too.
Yes. But I said the Seahawks. I also like the Jets, and again, I'll go back to my quote. It's a silver lining for me. I don't think Zach Wilson was ready, and I honestly believe that Joe Flacco or Jimmy Garoppolo would get you more wins than Zach Wilson would. It's a hot take
right there.
Yeah, I agree with it.
It's how I feel.
Right.
The Jets honestly might be better off because I love their additions in the offseason. Yeah. I think their offense is loaded. The only question mark I had about
defense
their team was defense. Defense one. It got better. For me, it was Wilson. I don't trust Zach Wilson. I don't think that he can win a lot of games. So I would say either the Jets or the Seahawks.
We'll see. Last thing, I want a one-word answer, a yes or no. OBJ still hasn't been signed yet, coming off his ACL tear in the Super Bowl. Connor, yes or no? Will the Rams re-sign OBJ?
No.
Peyton, yes or no?
No.
All right, we'll see where he ends up. I think
Cowboys.
Maybe
Cowboys.
I'll throw my hat in the ring. Maybe Green Bay. Let's try to sign a receiver.
No,
I'm just saying.
Never. Like,
not today, Satan.
Listen.
Yeah, no way.
We could just maybe think about signing a receiver, maybe, but they don't really do that.
Can you imagine if you had OBJ and Lazard?
Oh my God. Could I imagine if we signed a receiver? Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
Could I imagine if it wasn't somebody like Sammy Watkins, who's like 4 years past his prime?
That was so bad.
Phenomenal.
So bad.
Jordy Nelson coming back anytime soon?
Yeah, probably. He's come back from farmland.
Randall Cobb?
Yeah, well, Randall Cobb's still there, but he's 5 years
Is Cobb still there?
He is, but he's not prime anymore though.
Donald Driver, you could use him, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Even Greg Jennings. I've seen him on Undisputed a few times.
What's that guy that used to wear the sweatshirt? James Jones? That's
James, hoodie, baby, James Jones.
That guy was elite.
Dude, they're all 40-year-olds. They might as well play now. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna do our top 5 offenses, top 5 defenses. I'm gonna start. We're just gonna go 5-1 straight for all 3 of us. I'll throw out an honorable mention for the offense. I have the Buccaneers as like a team that I think could be in the top 10 because of how much they're gonna pass the ball. High powered with Brady, Evans, Julio. I think their offense just will be gunning because they're gonna pass the ball so much. So I won't put what are you shaking your head for already?
The fact that you don't have the Bucs in the top 5.
Oh, I have them at like 6 or 7. Number 5, I have the Chiefs. I think Mahomes is still gonna be able to get this thing going. I think with Juju, MVS, even with the loss of Tyreek, they still have Travis Kelce, who we've heard like nothing about all offseason. He's still there, second best tight end in football. So I think the Chiefs, they're still going to have a really good offense with Mahomes. No doubt, Andy Reid, phenomenal coach. I'll mention this. The reason I had the Bucs on the outskirts is because Todd Bowles is more of a defensive head coach than Bruce Arians. He focuses more on that end of the football. I'm just saying head coaches play a role, so I'm going with Andy Reid. He's a better mind. So I'll go Chiefs at 5. At number 4, this is where Peyton's going to kill me. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. I got my Eagles at the 4th ranked offense in the NFL with points scored. I think Jalen Hurts is going to come out and have an absolutely phenomenal season. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Miles Sanders, phenomenal offensive line. Dallas Goedert out here. The Eagles are going to be the 4th best ranked offense in the NFL. Number 3, I have the Chargers. I think the MVP, Justin Herbert's going to get it done for them with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler in the pass game. I have no doubt in my mind they'll be top 5. Number 2, I have the Buffalo Bills. I think Josh Allen, again, with Stephon Diggs, James Cook, even Gabriel Davis last year, who had a breakout game in the divisional round. He's going to be a stud, especially with all the attention Stephon Diggs will get. Number 1, I have the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow with, again, 3 receivers who are going to be who are going to be 1,000-yard receivers again. Joe Mixon, a much better offensive line, more time for Burrow. I have the Bengals as the number 1 offense in the NFL next season. This list, I don't think they're happy with this, guys. If we can, I don't know if you guys are agreeing with this much, but that's my top 5.
I don't even
Connor,
want to give my list. I don't even want to give
Peyton,
my list.
Peyton, go ahead.
No, I got the Broncos, my honorable mention.
Okay.
Shout out Russ, shout out Cortland Sutton, shout out Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, great offense. I think they're going to be really good this year. Number 5, I have the Chargers. I really don't want to talk about the Chargers anymore because Tino has gassed them up beyond humanly possible. There's just no more to talk about with the Chargers. Number 4, I have the Bengals. I agree with Tino that they're going to be great. I don't think they're going to be number 1, but I still love Joey B. I like the improvements to the O-line. I love me some Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, so I think they're going to be good. Number 3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're underrated. I think people are forgetting about Mahomes and kind of like completely just throwing him to the side and kind of nobody's really talking about the Chiefs. I get they lose Hill, but I really don't think he was – I mean, he's a great receiver. He had a massive impact, but you pick up some burners in Sky Moore and MVS, and hopefully, they can take some of that workload off of a guy like Juju or Kelce, but they're still a great offense. So I have the Chiefs at 3. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 2 for every reason that there is. It's Tom F. and Brady. And Julio Jones, again, massive addition to me.
He's gonna go off, dude.
All of you, everybody's saying it's minor. It's not minor. It's Julio Jones. It's still Mike Evans. It's still Chris Godwin and playoff Lenny. Come on, boys. Don't forget about my Bucks. Number 1, I have the Bills. We've all showed our love for the Bills and shown our love for Josh Allen this year. Diggs,
we all picked him to win the Super Bowl.
If they added OBJ, my God. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, OBJ. That new running back.
Dawson Knox, too. Yeah, it's going to be disgusting.
OD nice. So, I got the Bills at 1. I think that's an agreeable thing, but that's my top 5. I'm done. I can't do this.
Connor.
Let's do it.
Number 5, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Again,
Thank
Brady,
you.
Lenny, Mike Evans, Godwin, Bray taking over as the tight end,
Bray.
And Julio. Julio's going to be a stud. I can't wait.
Me too.
Can't wait for you guys to hear this one. Las Vegas Raiders, number 4.
No,
I could see it.
Derek Carr,
I'm not mad about it. That's that's my Eagles. That's
Darren
my Eagles.
Waller, Josh Jacobs, and Hunter Renfrow, all
Best
studs.
in
Raiders are a lock at number 4.
All right.
The Chargers at 3 with Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry, all those guys. Number 2, I'm surprised neither of you mentioned them. The LA Rams, where are they? Stafford, Akers, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson. Tyler Higbee.
They'll be top 10. They'll be top 10.
Yes. And number 1, the Bills. Same reason. I think they're winning the Super Bowl. Dawson Knox is going to have an awesome year as well. We didn't mention him. He's going to be a stud.
Yeah, we'll move on. Listen, I think, honestly, the only 2 crazy ones for me were the Eagles and the Bengals, but Connor putting the Raiders at 4 was like me putting the Eagles at 4. I don't think it's that much of a difference. Moving on to defense, though, I have two honorable mentions. I have the Colts and the Panthers. I think the Panthers is a young team with Brian Burns. They're going to get J.C. Horn back. They're going to be pretty decent. Indianapolis Colts, Shaquille Leonard now, not Darius. He changed his name. Shaquille Leonard, along with Stephon Gilmore coming back healthy, and Kenny Moore, who was a top 100 player. The NFL top 100 was released yesterday from 100 to 51. Kenny Moore, I believe, was like 82. Very underrated slot corner in the NFL. Colts honorable mention. From 5 to 1, I have the Packers at 5. I've said I think they could be a top 5 defense. If everyone's healthy, knock on wood, I think they're going to be top 5. They have a lot of talent. 4, I got the Buccaneers. Like I said, Todd Bowles is a defensive-minded head coach. They still got Vita Vea. They still have Shaquille Barrett, Levante David, Devin White, good secondary, Antoine Winfield. Their secondary was injured all year last year, so if they're healthy, they're going to be a lot better. 3, I have the Saints. Again, Dennis Allen taking over. He's another defensive-minded head coach. Cam Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu. You got DeMario Davis in there. They're going to be a great team. Buffalo Bills at number 2. They were the number 1 ranked defense last year. I have them at 2. Number 1, I have the Chargers. They made the most additions in the offseason for defense. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Sebastian Joseph Day at the D tackle, J.C. Jackson, Derwin James. They have 4 of the biggest names and some of the best performers on the defensive side of the football. Chargers are the best defense in the NFL next year. Conor, who you got?
No, Peyton, go ahead.
Peyton, go.
I have the Chargers at 5. Tino just said every reason why. Again, the addition of J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack is absolutely massive with both of there. I don't have them at number 1, but I have them at 5. 4, I have the Ravens. That's my hot take for the day.
I like it.
I don't know why. I just decided to put them on. I feel like they have the potential.
You got
to be
Marlon
top
Humphrey.
I like Humphrey, and I like the kid they just drafted that I picked for rookie of the year, but I can't remember his name right now, so don't ask me. 3, I have
Hamilton.
Thank you. 3, I have the Bucks. I know they lost Winfield, but I'm still
they still have Winfield.
I thought they lost. Who the safety they lost then? Didn't they lose a safety? No, they lost Winfield.
No, they have Antoine Winfield is still there. Or no, maybe he went to the Jets. You remember?
He did.
He did leave.
Yeah, they lost Winfield. Yeah, no, but still, no worries. Good, I still think they're going to be great. I'm just a massive Devin White and Shaq Barrett guy, but the loss of Winfield is massive for their secondary, and their cornerbacks look slightly weak. But I think their D-line is just so strong that they're still going to be top 5, my opinion. Again, Packers, Jair. Hello, come home, baby.
I like that. I like it.
Number 2, I just think they're going to have a huge. I think they're going to have a huge step up, and again, I think their offense is really going to take care of things. Even though you lose Adams, I think it's going to take a lot of pressure. I mean, again, when you have a guy like Rodgers throwing the ball, I think it takes a lot of pressure off the defense, and I just see them taking a big step up this year. And then number 1, I have the Bills, which I mean, we don't really have to talk about it. I have the Bills as the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense, which is a wicked hot take, but I'm big on the Bills this year, so
I have them as number 2 offense and 2 defense. So I'm pretty close.
We're right. You're right there with me.
Conor, top 5.
All right, number 5, Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, a lot.
I debated that one. That's a good one. It's a good one.
Minka Fitzpatrick, 2 of the best defensive players out there. Cameron Hayward as well.
They're
all studs.
It's a good take.
The Chargers, number 4. We all know everybody. We listed all of them, all their additions: Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, those guys. Number 3, the Bucks. Everything Peyton said. Vita Vea, JPP still there, my boy.
He is still there. Yeah, Mr. Pirate.
Let's go, JP.
Yes.
Hey, disrespect.
Number 2, San Francisco 49ers.
Whoa, hello.
They fly a little under the radar.
Hot take.
No, that's a good take. I like that take.
I'm saying hot take. I like it. I like the take. Yeah.
Yep.
Nick Bosa.
And number 1, Super Bowl champion Buffalo Bills.
Damn, boy, we're so biased. If the Bills are gonna suck this year now, bro.
I know, they're gonna win like 4 games.
Yeah, but it's so hard to say that you can't really not.
They're so good on paper, but like, damn, so man.
They added really Von Miller, bro. How can they not be top? Like, dude, they're ridiculous. But we only have about like 2 to 3 minutes left. I want to talk about the NBA real quick. Kevin Durant gave the Nets an ultimatum. He met with owner Joe Tsai and told the Nets that you either have to trade me or fire Sean Marks and Steve Nash. The head coach and the GM said pick between the 2 of us. He started out the meeting by reiterating his trade request. And then I saw a report today from, I believe, let me pull it up real quick. It was from NBA reporter Mark Stein. There are a lot of murmurs and rumors that KD will be more apt to retire than play for the Nets next season. So I'm curious. Conor, really quick, because we don't have that much time left, should the Nets trade KD or should they fire Marks and Nash if they had to make a decision?
They should trade him and just not listen to a word he says. I just don't like how the NBA has become such a big players league. I know that the players enjoy it. Fans like me, I don't know about you guys. I do not enjoy it whatsoever.
Hate this. This I hate. This is
Brandon,
too much.
Even who's the guard for the Bucks? Brandon Jennings said it the other day. Yeah. He said the other day that he just doesn't like the style of the NBA.
Unreal.
And which is just like the front office doesn't have a job anymore, which is the problem with me. Same with head coaches. It's just annoying. I hope that they trade him into like the Wizards or something. Please
talk about job. He's gunning for two people's jobs. You're trying to get them fired. Like that's beyond like wanting to have like a say in stuff. Like it's just ridiculous.
Honestly though, my take: if you can't get a good enough, which is a lot back for Kevin Durant, then you fire those two guys immediately. Especially Steve Nash.
I agree.
Steve Nash sucks as a head coach. He should have never been a head coach.
Interest of your franchise, not because this guy's telling you to.
The fact that it's out now and that it's in headlines, it makes it look really bad if you do, because then it's just saying that he has all the power and control over us at that point. So
no, I'll say this. I genuinely think though that KD, we're gonna run a little bit over, but it's fine. KD, I will say this. The fact that he requested this is ridiculous, but in my opinion, I mean, Sean Marks, obviously you shouldn't want to get rid of because he's a phenomenal GM. In my opinion, he's done a good job of building this team. Mm-hmm. Steve Nash is there by default. He is there because KD and Kyrie said, we don't need a head coach. We'll play without one. Just bring in this doofus, and he's done nothing. He's part of the reason they haven't made it to a conference championship yet.
Get rid of him.
He should get rid of Nash. Forget what KD said. Nash should have been gone. He should be gone right now.
I agree.
Outside of this ultimatum. Last thing. We don't have to react to it, but I'm just going to say it. NBA, they're going to retire number 6. We had talked about this prior. They were the first player ever for Bill Russell. Number 6 is being retired. The first player ever to have his number retired league-wide. LeBron James is going to have to change his number now because he wore number 6 last year. He's going to have to go back to number 23 for the Lakers, but a great move by the NBA. I think it was, again, well-earned by Bill Russell. First player ever, again, to have a number retired league-wide. Guys, that's going to do it. We covered a lot of stuff today. There's so much going on with the NFL season approaching, all this different stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, on our second live episode here, we're pumping these out every single week. Our Instagram, our links, our social medias, all that stuff is in the description of this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to another great episode of The Cold Hard Truth. See you guys next time.
Peace. Thank you. Peace.